Hello people that in the house are doing. Today I suppose you have heard in the news, it's all over the news, about in Tullamore in County Offaly. And I think the people in County Offaly and in Tullamore are right, to kick up a huge fuss about this, because there's something that should have been done, before it even started, this direct provision centres. I think there should have been a huge fuss kicked up before when it started to bring it in. And obviously they wouldn't get sorted. The government just decided, oh, do you know what? Let's just fire this here. The locals are okay. There's no room in the hospitals, in the local hospitals. There's no room in the schools. There's no special language therapists. There's no resources in the town. Do you know what? Let's just fire it here. Nobody care less. And you know what? People are right, and people are outraged. People are outraged with it, and people are fearful. People don't know these people. They don't know who these people are coming in. And it's simple. And this is the same crack with every direct provision set that the locals are not told beforehand, and then they just find out a few weeks before it's going to open. And they don't tell them a damn all. The local authorities don't tell them damn all who's coming in, what kind of background. And they're damn right to be afraid. People are damn right to be afraid because God knows who they are. And it's simple as that. It's same with anything. Like if you don't know who the person are, you're going to be a bit fearful and a bit suspicious, and that's rightful. And another thing too, there's not enough resources. I know somebody that actually is living in Offaly, that's from Cavan originally. And we said there's not enough women in the schools, and they haven't got enough teachers to teach the people who are in the school already, let alone try and teach people who can't speak English. And it's just there's no logic. There's really just no logic in this government. And whatever sick plan they have, to be honest, there's just really no logic. And people in Tullamore have the right to kick up, and people saying they have no right. They should just let them in. And you're just like, they pay their taxes. Their taxes are paying for them to stay in the direct provision sector. And they're going to stay there for probably 20 years to 30 years in that direct provision sector. Because there's no houses. Like, how the hell are they going to get a house? Like, they say, give them shelter until they can afford to, buy a place for themselves. And there's just no logic. There's really no logic. There's no houses. There's no houses to rent. There's nothing to rent. And there's nothing to buy because everything's so pricey. No matter what part of the country you are. And I think people in Tullamore are deadly right because, for starters, they do have the right to complain and to say, we don't agree with this. It's simple as that. Same with anything. If you don't agree with it, you can object to it. But it seems like, the one told. It's simple as that, the one told. And I love the way the media spins it. They say that they don't welcome people from other countries. It's not that. It's not that. They're not... No, that. It's not that. It's, they don't have the resources. They really don't have the resources to cope. And they don't want a huge amount of, no matter if war, I don't know what they are. They're coming from other countries that are war-torn. If they're from war-torn countries, then that's okay. But if they're economic migrants, like say they're just coming here for the fuss, then, that's a different kettle of fish. And, that's something that should be looked into, obviously. But they are right, the deadly right to give out about it. And I think Offaly County Council should hold their heads in shame, to be honest. And the same with the government. The government already has to hold themselves in shame, I know, because the amount of things they're doing is shameful. But seriously, it's the same with anything. The public should be consulted. The public should say yes or no. And obviously they wouldn't give them the choice. They would just said, we're going to put this here. If you have a problem with it, tough. And then people kicked up a fuss, and then they were like, oh god, they start fighting back. The people are fighting back. What should we do? Let's call the black and tans in. How about that? That's what Liam Farkel's first idea is. I say to call the black and tans back to Ireland. Because he says that's the only people we keep on in this country, it seems like. He wishes. But yeah, it's just not known too. And as the person from Cavan that lives in Offaly said, it's just not known. It's really just not knowing who these people are and just being fearful. Because God knows, they could be, God knows who. So, like I said, I'm sure people would understand, especially because there's young kids living around, the area. And, people are fearful. People are very fearful. Like, God knows, somebody could have 50 convictions and be going in there from another country. Could have killed 5 people. And, and then they're getting a new life in Ireland. And then God knows what they could do. And then, and then Offaly County Council is like, be fine. It's no worry, your taxes are just paying for it, doesn't matter. It's no worry to us, we won't be taking care of them. It's the people involved who will be taking care of them. But I'm not being trying to be racist. I always try and say this because always people accuse me of it. But it's simple English, simple English, simple common sense. That if you haven't got the resources in the hospitals, in the local hospitals, in the local GPs, they haven't got enough GPs anyway. They haven't got enough places in the schools. They haven't got enough teachers in the school. They haven't got the speech and language resources. They haven't got anything. They put them in the worst place imaginable. Like, they should just build a place in Dublin if they have any places at all. Because they won't build them in Dublin. They want to build them in the countryside where there's no resources no matter where you go. It's common sense. Like, you wouldn't decide, let's build a big city in the middle of nowhere if there's no resources, like if there's no doctors, there's no hospitals, there's no housing. There's a huge amount of problems. As I said, there's no teachers. They can't get teachers in any school in Ireland to cover. They can't even get speech and language teachers or anything for people that can't speak English. Fat chats are going to be able to, they're just going to be, like, it's honest to God, I feel bad for the teachers if that does happen, because they'll be running around and trying to sort things out and they're doing their best. It's common sense. Like, you don't like any country. I'm sure any other country would have a bit of common sense and say, we're not going to take them in because we haven't got the resources, which is understandable for Ireland's situation at the moment in time, because good God Almighty, you really don't have to look too far to see, maybe Ireland shouldn't be taking in many people. First of all, 10,000 people homeless. House prices have gone through the roof. Ireland's the second, worst country to buy a house or to rent a house in the world, and that's a terrible thing to have on your head. And the cost of living in Ireland deadly, and it's simple as that, deadly. That's the word I have to use, because it's just, and they're just like, let's take more people in, which is, it's not helping. It's really not helping. It's not helping really anybody. It's not doing any good. Like, we're not giving them any, the places of the housing with the people are coming here for, because there's the people of Ireland can't get anything. And I said again, it's where are my rights to say freedom of speech? I'm allowed to raise my opinion and raise my issue. And as I said, if anybody has a problem with it, if you agree to it, then I'm supposed you can give a few bob to the local government there to assist them in housing these people. You might have to give half your wages a week to it, or you might have to give your life savings towards it. But anybody agrees with me, you can do that, and we see from them what you do. Because it's just common sense. It's really just common sense at this moment in time. But anyway, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Bye.